Hey everyone, and welcome back to Marvel-ous Movie Mondays, our first episode of the new year. It's been a few months. Usually we take January off and then we're back in February. This year we took January and February off and we're back in March. The simple reasoning is just that, I'm between contracts for my job and I wanted to take this time to travel and vacation and just kind of enjoy the time I had off. And not that I don't enjoy doing this, and we both love doing this, but it's kind of nice to just have a longer hiatus, especially because last year was so weird trying to figure out the scheduling and everything. So now this year, I know what to prepare for. We have a game plan, we have a schedule plan. We really have a good idea of how to proceed. So you guys are getting Marvel-ous Movie Mondays. It's back. Trivia will be back probably next week, which is so exciting. Matt and Kelsey are cooking up something good this year. I know it's been a while. I know this podcast especially has been kind of, for those who listened weekly, it's tough to go to like twice a month and once a month and then months on end of gaps and stuff. But I think we have a good game plan set forward, and we have a lot of Marvel stuff to talk about this year. I think that was the thing for last year too, is like it was very top heavy. We got like the Spider-Man stuff early in the year and Daredevil, and then after that it was like we got like Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, and I think that's it. Captain America was also earlier in the year, but like we didn't have a lot of stuff to talk about during the year necessarily. It's going to be exciting. We obviously had some series to talk about, but I think this year there's going to be more regular stuff happening throughout the year. X-Men's coming back. The Amazing Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man's coming back. We have big movies like the fourth Spider-Man movie. We got Doomsday at the end of the year. We got Daredevil coming out at the end of this month. So we have a lot of stuff lined up. So that's our little like trailer at the beginning of what to expect. But you guys didn't come here for me. I'm on every show on this podcast. You came here for her. Kels, how's it going? Good to see you. We saw each other at an acting competition. We weren't competing. We were judging a few months ago.
Yes.
It's good to see you, my pal. How you doing?
It's good to see you, Dill. I feel like there's a lot of really cool and exciting things happening in your life right now, and I want us to catch up outside of this, and I want to hear about
Absolutely.
every single one of them. But so crazy, Dill. We are officially in 2026, which means we have entered a year where we are getting a new Avengers film.
I know. And we've never covered a new Avengers film on this. I mean, if you want to count last year, Thunderbolts, hashtag
Right, the
asterisk.
new Avengers.
But we haven't covered like a proper Avengers film on this podcast. We've seen Infinity War. Well, we saw Endgame together. We watched Infinity War
Mm-hmm.
together. But like, this
Mm-hmm.
is like, yeah, this is a big deal for sure.
It's pretty crazy to think about because it's like what is gonna happen? RDJ is back, Chris Evans is back. It's like I almost feel like we're living in an alternate timeline right now.
Right, where it's like you said goodbye to them all in 2019, but seven
Yes.
years later, don't fret, they will all be back.
No,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah. How do you feel about all that? Because we talked. I don't know if we talked a little bit about the marketing last episode. We might
Yeah.
not have, because like it was right around the time Avatar was coming out, and we were getting those teasers.
Right.
What do you think of the three teasers we got? Because we got a Thor one, we got a Cap one, and then I believe we got an X-Men one as well.
Yes.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
might be another one I'm forgetting, but what did you think of it?
I mean, they confirmed the cast. I think the whole thing is like so weird and bizarre. I think it's like they're building up they're trying to create build up to this Avengers film where there like is none because none of the films that have been coming out like previously have been like alluding to this film at all except the like 2 minute at like post credit scene in Fantastic Four First Steps. So it's like they're trying to build the tension and the anticipation with the countdown and these like teasers and like, yeah, this movie's probably going to make $1 billion and people are going to come out for it, I'm sure. But me as like a Marvel fan who's been dedicating so many years to this franchise, I'm like, why am I going to see this when I don't know anything about Doctor Doom? Like, is the whole draw just supposed to be that RDJ is back? Because I don't
Yeah.
think that's enough for me.
Right, and we kind of talked about that, like that being the reason they cast him was not just because he wanted to come back and he wanted the money, but also like yeah, like how are we gonna get people into this idea and this concept? I just think the Avengers name alone is enough to sell it, though. Like I
Yeah.
think that's the thing is they're trying almost a little too hard to get us all invested in something that, I mean, if you're watching the MCU stuff, you're probably still gonna see it. Even if you fell off after Endgame, you're probably still gonna see Doomsday because you
Right.
probably saw at least maybe like Fantastic Four and maybe like Thunderbolts, and you're probably gonna see the new Spider-Man. Like that's the thing. Like there are not as many diehards as I feel like there were. Even us, like I feel like I'm way behind the ball. Like I watched all of Wonder Man last night. I didn't really watch it as it aired or as when it came out. Like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't like event television like WandaVision was. Like I feel like I'm not as diehard in the fact that like I'm not watching these things the first second they drop on Disney Plus, where we used to be like that. We used to be like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, new episode tonight. I'm gonna stay up till 3 a.m. and watch it at midnight when it drops. That was us. But
Right.
I think there's still enough with just the Avengers name that I think you the problem is that they're going to require a lot of homework,
Mm-hmm.
even though there are people who aren't going to do the homework, but they're still going to get the people. Even though,
Yes.
like, it's not going to be like a the Marvels where you had to do the homework and people who didn't do the homework stayed home. People who didn't do the homework are still going to go, if that makes sense. So I don't
Yeah.
know. The marketing's interesting though. I like how they're not really giving away plot. I actually
Mm-hmm.
prefer that. It's kind of just being like these are the characters you're going to see, and here's a little snippet of their like just them in the woods or them with the baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank God, because I just I can't with Marvel spoiling their movies anymore. So
Totally.
good for me. Like I'm fine with it.
Well, I wouldn't put it past them, Dill. There's still a lot of months in the year left
True.
before this movie comes out, and I
Very
could
true.
see us getting like a full blown trailer that reveals, I'm sure, more than we'd like. I
Actually, that's a
mean,
very good point.
I don't know if you agree with me, Dill, but I feel like coming off of X-Men 97, I feel like the draw of just them including the X-Men in it alone is like that's like enough for me. Like
Yeah.
I feel like if this was about like these two like parties coming together that have like famously not been in like the same like I guess universe or timeline, I guess. Um that's enough draw for me alone to want to see these like two worlds collide. So,
Yeah, and what's really interesting too is like even Deadpool and Wolverine, it was kind of like this is the end of the Fox chapter,
mhm.
and we still are getting X-Men. So like even then, it feels like I'm wondering if they're gonna actually serve a purpose that actually means something, or if they're just gonna be like an extended cameo, or if this is their way of trying to like kind of reverse that in a way. And that's kind of what we've been talking about this whole time, the last like 5 years, is like what is the roadmap? And I think we're
Mhm.
finally the good news with the new Avengers film is we're finally getting the roadmap of like now we know exactly what's it's supposed to be culminating to, and then
Mm.
hopefully from there it can kind of set us forward. Because right now I feel like we've been aimlessly kind of scattering around waiting just
Yeah.
because the whole Kang thing fell through, and I really think
Mhm.
sadly that was what broke this kind of phase or few phases of movies was trying to
Mhm.
figure out how exactly are we getting on track, like what are we leading to. Not that everything needs to lead to something, but when you've done that already for 4 phases
Yeah.
and then Endgame ends so beautifully, it's like you need to figure out a way to like figure out what the game plan is. You need to have a roadmap, and I feel like they have one to Secret Wars. I'm interested to see what happens with Doomsday in regards to Secret Wars, how that sets up Secret Wars, and what to expect. Just because I really still don't know. Like I don't even know who our main character is right now. Like it used to be Tony Stark and Cap. Is it still Cap? Even though Cap is now Sam Wilson, but Cap is
Yeah.
still Steve Rogers in this movie. So like it's one of those things where or he's Steve Rogers, he's not Cap, but he's back. So it's like I don't even know who my main character is. Is Chris Evans gonna have a scene? Is he gonna be a main character? Is he gonna be the main character? Obviously Doom is gonna be the main character in the way Thanos was in Infinity War, probably if I had to guess. But like
Yeah.
I don't even know who our center piece is. Like it could is it just this Cap and Thor thing? But that's what it's
Mm.
always been. Or are they kind of going a new direction? But also who are the new leaders? Because it's probably not Spidey because everyone forgot his identity. I don't think it's
Right.
Black
Right.
Panther just because she just took up the mantle. Like I really just don't know. And then the Captain America movie that we got flopped. So it's like I just don't know. They need to find just direction, and I hope Avengers Doomsday at least gives us the direction of where it'll go in the next few years after that. Because right now I don't know. Because even now it's like the Thunderbolts is that our main Avengers team. They're the new Avengers, but they also feel like the anti-Avengers of what has already been built of like Captain America and Bucky. Well, Bucky's part of the Thunderbolts, so it's so confusing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just confused, and it's not a bad thing necessarily because like it gives a good mystery for what we can expect. But it is a little frustrating as Marvel fans to try to just piece it all together, you know?
Right. For
Yeah.
sure. I think that's a good way to put it, and a good word to sum it all up is just like a little frustrated.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, should we dive into the series that we've come to talk about, which
Sure.
is Wonder Man?
Wonder Man, yeah, let's do it. We don't really have much else in terms of news. I mean, the news is just kind of what's coming out this year, which we kind of gave you a hint at. And yeah, I do think it's gonna be really cool to just see what happens in the next few months with all these projects.
Yeah.
Did you say you had something cool to share though, Kels,
So,
or does this
I guess,
pertain to Wonder Man?
well, no, it doesn't pertain to Wonder Man, but it does pertain to what our next few episodes is going to be on, which is Daredevil season 2 is coming
Okay,
out this month.
yeah,
And I am actually this coming Sunday am going to the season 2 premiere in New York.
let's go. That's so cool. That is
So,
awesome. That is
yes.
incredible.
So our
This Sunday, like the 15th.
yes.
Oh my gosh, the day of the Oscars. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Nice.
So, oh yeah, it's great that I also got the Sunday of the Oscars off. Okay, great. I didn't even realize
Is it
that.
during the day? Is it
So there's 3 viewings. There's like a 12, a 3, and a 6.
That's
And it's
awesome.
just episodes 1 and 2. Our good friend James, his boyfriend worked on the set of Daredevil season 1. So
That's sick.
it's a cast and crew viewing, and he invited me to be his +1 because he knows that, well, we're big fans here at Marvel's
Mhm.
Movie Mondays.
Wow.
So
Okay, so you know what I want, Kels? We're gonna talk about it on the podcast. Obviously, once our plan is to do the first 4 episodes in April, and then the second 4 episodes in May. But you should do like an out of theater TikTok something for it, like
yeah,
a
I
little
will.
reaction without spoilers, obviously, if you can. I don't know if there's social media embargoes. There might be actually. If it's a cast and crew screening, maybe you can't say much. But
Yeah,
when you are able to like film an out of theater reaction or whatever, and then we'll put it up once we're able to post it. That'd be fun.
yeah.
That's awesome, Kel. That's. Did you ever think when you started a Marvel podcast with me in the midst of COVID that you would be invited to a premiere of a Marvel series? Like that's
No.
so cool. And the cast and crew is gonna be there?
Well, I was kind of asking him about it because I was like freaking out. I was like, what do I wear? Like, am I gonna like meet like, really cool like people? I don't want to look, underdressed or anything. And he did mention that last year, Charlie Cox was not at the premiere last year, but Vincent D'Onofrio was.
There you
So
go.
we'll see who shows
Wow.
up for the premiere. We
That
don't
is
know.
epic. That is the coolest thing I've ever heard. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Now that makes me so proud
Yeah.
of you too, because you've worked really hard just with the Marvel stuff. You're definitely the
Oh.
brains behind this operation, and you put in the effort. And you know me, I just sit here and I bounce off of what you say, but like you come prepared every week, and you watch everything, and it's really awesome to see that. That's
Oh,
so cool. That's
thanks,
gonna be
Jill.
that's so cool. Like I'm gonna be
Yeah.
living vicariously through you that day, and that's my favorite day of the year. It's the Oscars, but that's the second coolest thing going on that day, which is really
Yeah,
awesome.
for sure.
Congratulations. Oh
Thanks.
my gosh, that's so cool. All right, well
Um,
now we're on a high for Wonder Man, which I was already on a high from because I think the series is freaking awesome.
oh, okay, good, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're feeling good about it.
Uh
Um,
oh.
no. Okay, we'll get into like our general thoughts right now. Well, tell me, Jill, like what do you like about it?
um, I don't know. So no, I do know. I'm worried because I don't know what the general perception is. This is the most out of touch I've been with Marvel. It's just been
Hmm.
being on a boat for a year, and the only Marvel movies I'm seeing are the same two played over and over and over again on the boat: Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. I really have
Totally.
no grasp for what like the fandom likes about all these movies, if they're liked, if there are fans for these shows and stuff. I don't even know
Yeah,
if Daredevil was well received this new season. I have no idea. I assume it was, but
I thought it
um
was.
yeah, but like again, I don't even know. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know if people are liking Wonder Man, but I have to imagine, and this might be, I don't know if you agree with me or not, in terms of loving it or not. But if you don't, I think it could be like, I think this is very anti MCU, not anti MCU
Mm.
in the sense of like
Hmm.
talking down on the MCU, but it's very much anti what the MCU formula has given you to expect in terms of
Hmm.
battles, fight scenes, superpower origin stories, villains. This does not tick any of the boxes of the typical MCU norm, but that's also why I kind of love it. I love the world of like Hollywood. It's very relatable
Mm-hmm.
as actors to like kind
Mm-hmm.
of see a film about auditioning, and that this anxiety for auditioning and this wanting to be good enough for a role and wanting to prove yourself for a role is the show. And then the kind of subtext is the fact that you're also a superhero, and there's also these like laws against superheroes being in film, and you don't really know that out the gate. You kind of learn that as you go. I love the way information is kind of fed to you throughout the series, not right out the gate. Like there's a whole episode where you learn why this is such a big deal and why he has to keep it a secret. And then
Mm-hmm.
kind of going
Mm-hmm.
back with the X-Men thing that we talked about when we talked about like X2 and the kid like coming out to his parents, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of like queer subtext, not even queer, but like it could be like racial subtext, obviously because you have a black man in the lead role, but some sort of subtext of like what it's like to have this part of you that you cannot control, whether it's your sexuality, your race, your mental disabilities. Like this could be like just like a metaphor for just like anger issues in general. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
it's anger issues. I think it's more of the racial or queer thing. But like
Mm-hmm.
the idea that like your family doesn't always accept you. Your mom loves you, but like your brother judges you and for what you do, and you feel like you don't belong in this world. This is the place you feel safe, but you know that there's this thing about you that could easily get you fired, could easily get you in trouble, has set you back in the past, and how to navigate a world with this kind of thing about you that you literally can't control. And I love the metaphor of that. I just think it's such a cool idea. I was blown away by this. I just could not believe what I was seeing, because every episode I was like, we haven't even gotten like a fight scene, and I'm like, period.
Yeah.
Like that's good. Like
Mm.
I don't need that in my Marvel. Like I love that this is just a series, and because it's Marvel, it could have an underlying thing. So instead of him, trying to suppress his gayness or deal with his race or anything like that, it's the fact that he's a superhero and that he can punch through things and break things. Like that is cool. It's
Yeah.
really cool that like that is what it is. And I thought Trevor Slattery was kind of used as a comedic relief joke in the last thing we saw him in, and now he's kind of
Mm.
a character that actually has some nuance. There's an actual moral dilemma there, also about friendship and what the right thing to do is versus what the selfish thing to do is. I don't know. I thought it was excellent. I can't wait to talk about it in depth. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are my blanket thoughts just on why I love it so much. But yeah.
So I feel like you love it, Dill, because I feel because you say it's like it's very different from like everything else
Oh
like
yeah.
Marvel's been like putting out. And I
Mm-hmm.
totally get that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely making me feel like putting it into that perspective, I definitely feel like a little bit better about the series. Just for me, like just like first impressions of it, I was just like kind of bored.
Mm.
I mean, I obviously like the whole actor thing, auditioning thing is like very relatable. There are some situations that he's in where I'm just like, this would never fucking happen. Like you're going for your first callback, your first round callback, you're going to the director's personal home. Okay.
Yeah.
A
Like to do
little
like role play and stuff,
crazy,
and
but
yeah, yeah.
whatever. I'll let it slide. It's the MCU, whatever. And I
Mm-hmm.
do think that it's a very polished series, and I think that the best thing that it has going for it is the chemistry between the two main guys. What is the main guy's name?
I think it's Yahya Abdul Mateen. I think plays him, right?
Yaya, is
Yeah,
that how
Yahya
you
Abdul
pronounce
Mateen.
his
Yep.
name?
Mm-hmm.
So Yaya and Ben Kingsley have great chemistry. Um, and I think that they're like it's just like a really great character piece and look at these two characters and how like Trevor Slattery is helping Simon along the way. Not just with like acting itself, but like seemingly through like every aspect of his life, like his words of wisdom and all the advice that he has can really be applied to every situation in Simon's life and not just acting specifically. And I think, I mean, I'm taking a guess and like maybe I'm dumb. I'm not a hardcore film buff, but it feels like this was filmed on film.
Yeah, like it definitely feels like it. I don't know if it is. I didn't research
Yeah.
it, but it doesn't have that digital glossy look that I hate.
Yes.
There's none of that wet cement look. Like
Yes.
I love the way it looks too, and it might just be because this is an homage to like movie making and the
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood system, and it's kind of got well, they watch Midnight Cowboy in the movie, in the show. I keep saying movie because
Yes.
I watched it all at once, but
Yeah.
they go to see Midnight Cowboy, and we actually covered that on Picture This last month, oddly enough. But that whole story is about these two guys who, like, one guy comes to the city to make ends meet and to have live the American dream, only to realize that he's kind of like, just one of a million people. He doesn't really belong. He's not really the best at what he does. He kind of slips into drugs and doing some bad things, and he has his friend who's like homeless, that's like played by Dustin Hoffman, who is like kind
Mm.
of again guiding him through it, and they're kind of just like two guys trying to navigate the world of New York City. That's why it's called Midnight Cowboy, because it's like they're just kind of wandering the streets of New York late at night trying to scrounge up work and make ends meet, and you see this beautiful friendship evolve, and it's kind of bittersweet and sad. And that's kind of what this film is like, and it has that
Mm.
kind of quality of like a 70s film in terms of the texture and grain of it. So I definitely noticed the grain of the camera. This is one of those Marvel presentations, not like a Marvel official MCU series, so it makes
Yeah.
sense that they are a little bit more artistic about it. And the fact that it is very different, I think, is because they don't have to necessarily put it under that umbrella. They could just say, oh, this is a Marvel presentation, special feature or whatever, like Werewolf by Night was, which was also
Right.
very different. So
Yes, I did notice that it had like the Marvel Spotlight intro, the
Spotlight,
same
that's it.
that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had for what is that show called? Echo. Um
Yeah.
so yeah, it's also crazy to think about how like this character that we got 13 years ago from Iron Man 3 2013 like has just
Oh,
evolved so
Trevor.
much
I
and
thought you meant
become.
Wonder Man. I was like, wait, what? No, yeah, Trevor. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
no, no, no. I'm
yeah. I
talking
got
about
you.
Trevor
Yeah.
Slattery, our tried and true, our close personal friend, Trevor Slattery. We love him on this channel. Um, uh, it's just so crazy that he's just become such a well-rounded like character and such like a wholesome character. I think for me, the thing that's getting in my way of really loving this series, like as much as you do, Jill, is that it's hitting the same roadblocks for me that I think all of the Marvel series have been running into, is that it just doesn't feel like a complete like TV series. It feels like a film, like you've been saying, Dill, split up into 8 30-minute episodes.
That I'll give you, because I was a little worried when you were like, not you didn't say anything, but like in my mind I was like, what if she wants to go episode by episode? I'm like, I can't tell
Oh,
you what episode was better than the other was better than the other. I could
totally.
tell you certain scenes, and if you told me that scene came from that episode, I'd be like, okay, like I could tell you what the callback is. But again, I could tell you the episode where they went to the family's house, and I could tell you the episode with the
Yes.
flashback of like the why the superhero is outlawed in Hollywood. Like those three episodes I
Yes.
could probably pick out, but everything else, the details are super vague and super hazy. And I agree with that. I do think, yeah, like they don't really end each episode in a spot where you're like, oh, where you're like leaning in. And
Right.
I think that's why they dropped them all. I believe they dropped them all at the same time, and that makes sense. But I'm like, if you're gonna
Yeah.
drop all the episodes at the same time, just release a movie, because it's
Right.
it's 8 half-hour episodes, but the half hours there's like 10 minutes of credits, so it's really like
Mm-hmm.
25, 26 minutes maybe for each one.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a long movie, but like you could even shave it down and get it to like 2.5 hours. I would even sit through like a 3 hour movie of this,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's actually really good. Like I do think, yeah, like it works better as a total piece, because that's the thing, it's hard to talk about specific like details. It's just talking about the overall themes, and that might be kind of where your hesitation is, the fact that like I feel like the same takeaway from every episode is the same. It's just that some
Mm-hmm.
episodes reveal some more information that helps with that. Like, okay, you're seeing into his family life. You can kind of get a little bit better sense of his background. You can see behind like the way he reacts to interviews, and his kind of anxieties come through from that. You can learn a little bit more about the character through each episode, but like in terms of the actual themes of what it's trying to get across, it's very clear what it's about in terms of friendship, and then also about like just his place in Hollywood, and this idea of being an outlier, and trying to make it in a world where the odds are stacked against you. I feel like the theme is pretty repetitive by
Yeah.
episode, so I could see as a
Yeah.
series it actually might not work as well as a film, whereas as a film the whole thing is one big theme. That's fine. I think this is one that's benefited from watching all together for sure.
Yeah. And it's also interesting, like, I found Simon Williams hard to root for sometimes,
Hmm.
especially in like, I think it was the second to last episode when they finally book the movie and they're they're having their first week on set, and he's just like, he's number one on the call sheet, like he's acting like Mr. Big Shot. He's like, yeah, get me this from Crafty, like all this stuff. And as much like development that I feel like I want to believe he's going through with the guidance of Trevor Slattery, I feel like that was the same guy that we saw in episode 1, where he was acting like, this huge like douchebag on the American Horror Story set that got him fired. Like that was the same guy that we saw now in our second to last episode. He's doing like the same shit because he's like, like, oh, I can own this now because like I'm like gonna be a movie star like all of a sudden. And it's really interesting out of all these projects to like see our main character like pursue something and whose main objective is something like kind of like really selfish as just like following his dream of becoming an actor. Like at one point he gets together with his ex-girlfriend because he's trying to figure out like what she might have said to the reporter from the New York Times, and she summed him up beautifully in my opinion by calling him a self-centered what was it, dick, self-centered dick. She said,
what's the word I'm looking for?
I wrote it in my notes. I was like, oh, quote, self-centered dick, and that's how I kind of like saw him at some points during this series. So I don't know how you felt about Simon Dill.
Well, what's interesting about the repeated thing is I think it actually was kind of sad in a way to see that he had gone through all this, finally gotten the role, and then he was reverting to his old ways that got him in trouble again. But I think it is the difference between when it happens in episode 1 and when it happens in like episode 7 or 6 or 7 is that by then we at least understand where his anxieties come from, and that kind of defensiveness and wanting to change things is a mechanism for him being insecure and him feeling like he's not good enough and that he needs to keep improving, and that every line of dialogue might be taken a different way and portray him as a person in society who is, not supposed to be doing what he's doing because of his powers, but also, for the metaphor, because he's a black man in Hollywood, there's certain things that he's afraid or will make him look bad, and he has to feel like he has to speak up for. But at the end of the day, Trevor is the one who has to be like, no, like it's okay, like maybe we just change this a little on the line, like it's not a big deal, not a big deal. And I think that's the thing, is like when you have this constant pressure on you, you always feel the need to make a change and to be the voice of advocacy. But sometimes in a business like this, you don't really get that voice, or it comes across as like narcissistic and comes across as like arrogant, which it can't be both. It can be arrogance because it's like, who are you to come tell me that my lines are crap and that you want to change the dialogue? Like, you're not the writer. But at the same time, it's like, no, but I as someone who watched the episode with the reporter, it's like, no, like, and I don't, the reporter episode came first, right? Before the set, or vice versa. I don't remember.
Let me see.
Or was it the same episode?
The callback tourist picked by...
Because I think...
No, I think the reporter and the first week on set happened simultaneously.
Yeah, so that episode is kind of, I think it shows just the way he acts with the reporter. He's trying too hard. He's doing too much. And and for me, I took that as like okay, it all makes sense now, rather than like, oh, he keeps reverting into his old ways, like, oh, this guy can't learn. I think it's more so that he, and I think both takeaways are valid though, because I think it is meant to show that like patterns repeat because of insecurity, and I do think that's kind of the harsh thing, because I have certain habits in the workplace that I just haven't been able to break, and as much as I try to fix them, like out of insecurity, wanting to be the best, wanting to try to outdo my past self, you kind of run into some obstacles with that itself too. And I think the difference here is that he has Trevor now. He has someone, and that's something that the mom's storyline is so important, because she's the one who's just like, he never wanted a friend. Like, who doesn't have a friend? Who doesn't make a friend? And I think that's also a key too, is like, this could also stem from the fact that he doesn't really know how to socially interact in general, like how to properly talk to people. And I think that's something that Trevor brings out of him. And that's why by the end, when he starts reverting, it's like, you have the people who can talk him down that you didn't have earlier. And I think that's kind of the show. I like when a show parallels later in the season what happened earlier in a slightly different way. And in this case, it's very similar, but then like you have this slight little twist of like Trevor then being able to kind of come in as backup and help him out in that moment, rather than earlier where he just kind of didn't have a safety net and let it spiral him out of control to the point where he got fired in
Right,
American
right.
Horror Story. So
Yeah.
I do like that parallelism, but I do understand, like, it is frustrating for sure to watch him kind of revert, because it's like, oh, you did so well, you were doing so well, you know.
Yeah.
And that's fair, but that's life, you know, and that
Yeah,
sucks. Yeah,
totally.
yeah,
I was getting nervous as soon as he started talking about changing the dialogue. I was like, dude, you
yeah,
didn't learn your lesson. You're going to get fired from this fucking movie.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think that for me, I think I was kind of hoping, especially in that reporter scene, especially when she started really to go in on Trevor and was like, you know what, I'm actually going to ask you about your problematic past. Which, to be fair, we can talk about Trevor Slattery in a second and like his crazy turnaround, because she did have some valid questions, this reporter. But you know, she really starts going in on him, and then I almost wish that Simon had spoken up for Trevor in that moment or defended him. But I guess we see, like, you know, it really takes him until the last episode to really do like a completely selfless act in breaking him out of prison. So
Yeah.
it just took him a little bit.
Yeah. What I also really liked about the series is the fact that in the Hollywood of it all, you were able to
Mm,
cast actors as themselves, but obviously fictionalized versions of themselves. Like
yeah.
Joey Pantoliano's in it. He's from The Matrix. He's from Sopranos. He's the one whose house they visit. The guy with the
Yes.
glasses who
Joey
makes him
Pats.
the Mutz from Hoboken. And
Dude.
then you have like Josh Gad, who is Josh Gad is so good in the series, and the in summer DJ rave mix is my favorite thing ever.
Yes.
But then you also have Ashley, what's her name? Ashley Green from
Ashley
Twilight.
Green
Yeah,
from
very
Twilight.
apropos for what you've just experienced lately, my friend. But yeah, like
Yes.
there's so many great like I love the celebrity cameos and the fact that they're playing fictionalized versions of themselves, and that makes it feel more real too. The fact that they're commenting on real things, like they're talking about Shonda Rhimes series, and they're talking about,
Hmm.
like, you know, American Horror Story, all these things that obviously like Disney owns, so they could talk about. But it's also like, you know, they have like such a DNA of modern Hollywood infused in this thing that makes it feel real, and it's cool that it's also in universe. Like, this is the Hollywood that exists in the Marvel universe, which you don't really see, because like we don't really see characters watching movies in the MCU. And the movies we hear
Hmm.
about are movies that existed, like when Tom Holland talks about Empire Strikes Back and Aliens. You know, like
Right.
we don't really see a lot of movies in the MCU, at least not that I can recall off the
Yeah.
top of my head. So it's kind of cool to see like this part of the MCU we've never seen before, and that it is just so funny to see Josh Gad in this role. I just
Yes.
that episode was so confusing, because I was like, wait, what is this building to? And then you finally get it. You're like, oh, okay, this actually unlocks. I think that episode kind of unlocked the whole series in terms of like,
Yes.
why should we care? I think that's kind of the question you were posing, where it's like you're a little bored. It's like, why does this matter? Like, why do we just want to follow this one actor who is trying to get a role? And yes, he has superpowers, but what do they have to do with one another? Why should we care? Why is this even a Marvel series? And I think that episode
Hmm.
kind of shows you why it's very grave and very serious. John Gad
Yeah,
disappears inside
totally.
someone.
Yeah, Dill, that the
He
Josh
literally
Gad
melts.
of
He
it
literally
all.
melts inside someone. Some people are worth melting for it. He literally disappears after melting into someone's stomach.
No, you're so right. I didn't realize that until this moment right now. But oh my God, yeah. He literally, the way he just starts screaming, like, we're melting in the club. Like, it was crazy. The Josh Gad reveal was like, I'm so glad that I only watched one trailer for this show, and I was kind of disappointed even to learn that Trevor Slattery is going to be in it, but because he's like literally the second lead of it all, I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I was nervous that
Yeah.
I was like spoiling like a major like cameo for myself, and I was like, oh, that would have been great if I got to that part where Trevor shows up and whatever. But he ended up being like the main focus of the show, so whatever. But then the Josh Gad reveal, I was not expecting. I was like, this is crazy. Of course, they would get someone like Josh Gad to do this, and yeah. So we're talking about episode 4, Dorman. It's called
Mm-hmm.
because in the episode prior, episode 3, Simon is explaining to Trevor about how dangerous it would be for him to get found out for having powers because of the Demar Dorman Davis clause.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says that very quickly. I had to write it down. I literally was like, I heard Damara Dorman Davis question mark. I wrote down in my notes, but then it gets all explained to us in episode 4, and I
Yeah.
think this might have been my favorite episode. I think
It might have
it
been,
was
yeah.
like stylized really well, and you see this guy who literally starts as a doorman. That's why he gets his nickname from. He starts at a doorman at a club to being befriended by Josh Gad because after his shift, he's taking out the trash and he basically gets sucked into this void. And he basically becomes like a portal that people can pass through and people can like teleport through. And so he gets a job as being Josh Gad's bodyguard by being able to like teleport him like in and out of spaces without being noticed or recognized or like followed by anyone, which is like crazy to think about, like people like shutting like hoarding around a restaurant because they find out that Josh Gad is there. It's like that's hilarious to think about.
Yeah.
But this whole episode is filmed in black and white, which was an interesting choice. And you basically find out that Josh Gad goes missing in this guy's stomach, which is why actors can like why people with superpowers can no longer be actors, because he basically just keeps making his way up the food chain. He starts as the bodyguard for Josh Gad, then Josh Gad is like, you know what, no, you should be in this movie with me because it wouldn't be special effects with you, you'd make it look really real. And then to him disappearing inside this guy's stomach. And I just think that in the MCU, it is now canon information that Josh Gad is just missing.
Do you think like 10 years down the line we're gonna get Avengers 9 and it's just gonna be like the final post credits is them finally finding Josh Gad like with the time god Loki in the middle of like the ether? Like
Yeah, yeah.
I think that'd be really funny. Like just like, or when we finally say, when Kevin Feige's finally like, this is the last MCU film ever, and it's Iron Man 7, The Search for Josh Gad.
Yeah.
You know, or we throw him into like the next Eternals film, like see who's really watching, like really make it for the diehards, you know.
No,
That'd be fun.
totally.
Yeah.
I just love how, and I wrote this down at the end of this episode, Dill, is because for me, I guess part of the reason why I found this series like kind of boring. I hate to use that word; it's kind of strong.
Like
Maybe
underwhelming.
lackluster,
Yeah, lackluster.
underwhelming. I'd say
Lacking. Maybe.
lacking for sure is because I felt like the stakes were kind of like weird and off, or maybe just not high enough for me.
It's very low stakes, yeah. Because at
It's
the end of the day, if this guy doesn't get a job, he doesn't get a job, and that's kind of it. Like
right.
that's
It's like,
yeah.
okay, then you audition for the next one, guy. Like that's the life of an actor for you.
Right.
But I mean, and I get the the stakes of him having the powers and like, you know, whatever. But for me, it's like they have such a vendetta about actors being, super beings. But we're coming off the heels of Captain America Brave New World, where the literal president of the United States turned into a giant monster. And it's like, you think there'd be some, I wish instead of like outs, like maybe they mention like, somewhere down the line, like, oh, this is not just for actors anymore, but like we have to make sure that everybody we, hire to do like major uh jobs, I guess, like are not like super powered people. Like maybe that becomes like the whole mission of the MCU moving forward, is like now we got to keep track of who's a super being and who's not, because the fucking president turned into a red
Yeah.
Hulk
Which is kind
and
of
we
what
can't have that.
that's kind of what X-Men was originally, right? Wasn't it
Right,
like
right.
Magneto being like, "No, like come forward, reveal that you're a mutant, like come say
Yes.
something," like mutants versus non-mutants. It's very Muggle, like Harry Potter Muggle versus wizard thing. Like honestly, I think that'd be a kind of a cool direction. Yeah, like you're saying for the MCU to go, where it becomes almost like this hunt for, oh my gosh, this is way too topical. Like the people who are, we need to get the people who are powerful out of the country because they're putting us in danger, even though they're the ones protecting us and the muscle and who are being strong and working these jobs. And
Right.
wow, it's all too topical. Honestly, if that's the way the MCU is going, is that they're gonna make a commentary on immigration, like
Yeah.
sign me up, because I think that's the coolest thing that superhero film and media can do, is like be a mirror to society and discuss these themes and do it in a way that people who are prejudiced and are set in their ways could just be like, oh, it's just because of superpowers. It's nothing. But then if you substitute superpowers with race or queerness or identity or gender or nationality, and then you sub it into the sentence, it's like, oh, shoot, like Hollywood not hiring women or not hiring black people. Like that's where it becomes, oh, shoot, this is a metaphor. And I think that's the thing with X-Men that so many people were like, it's just a show. I'm like, okay, but like, it's there's a lot more to the
Right.
subtext there. Yeah, that's
No,
actually
totally.
wow.
And
That'd be
I
a cool
think
direction for MC to go. Yeah.
this show honestly is like kind of like the most like subtly like woke, I guess you could call it, or just like
Hmm.
I guess like inclusive. Like literally like Simon Williams like is a child of immigrant parents. His parents are from Haiti.
Hmm.
Like first and foremost, like that's what it is. And like I almost wish like maybe they made part of the reason why he like needs to get a job so bad as an actor is so like maybe he can start helping out his mom, because his brother does make a comment at his mother's birthday party where he's like, well, I've been paying for everything and I've been the one helping you out and I redid this whole kitchen after he destroyed it, like, you know, all this stuff. He goes off and he's like, no, but like this is why I'm trying to land these like big jobs, is because like I really want to like start being able to help out mom and like pay for things and like, you know, like all this stuff. And I just think like maybe that would have made him seem like a lot less selfish and made me want to root for him more.
Hmm.
I had that thought during the birthday party episode. I also think that the woman who plays his mother is just so darn charming.
She's
She is a riot.
delightful. She's delightful. She I was gonna say is by performance standout. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the two of them are so like I think Yaya is incredible in this, and
Mm-hmm.
I think Ben Kingsley's great. Like you have Ben Kingsley, Oscar winner, best Ben Kingsley, Sir Ben Kingsley,
Yes.
as like this one-off goofball role, and now you've been able to milk him for 3 movies, or 3 projects. Like
Yeah.
he's also kind of a goofball supporting kind of comedic relief in Shang-Chi. I love that he's getting a chance to lead here, and because it is a co-lead, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But like really get to show what he's made of dramatically, while also still having the characterization of Trevor Slattery. It's really interesting. But yeah, like next to them, like the mom is so good. She's so good. I want to find her name because she's incredible. Do you have her name written down? I can find it.
I don't.
It's okay. I will find it right now.
I'm lacking in the research department for this
Oh, it
one,
is
Dill. There
so
were just
fun.
so many references and so many name drops and so many things that they brought up throughout the duration of this series. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna my hand's gonna start cramping if I start writing down every
I did
single one of
find it.
these.
Shola Adevusi, who is a British actress of Nigerian descent, for stage and radio. I don't know if I've seen her. Oh, she's in Paddington 2.
Oh,
Who is she in Paddington 2? This is important information I need to know right now.
we this is breaking news for Dill.
This is whoa. I am
When
having an
we'll,
existential crisis right now. Who does she play? She's not even in the cast list here, so she must be in it. She must be one of the neighbors. I bet.
mm,
Um, her work
she's in
also includes
Paddington
her role.
too.
That is the most. Oh wait, here we go. First Miss Peters. First
First,
Miss.
is there a second?
Yeah. Let me
Oh,
see.
spoilers for Paddington 2.
First Miss Peters. All right, I will find this later. I'll just have to rewatch the favorite movie of my life. Yeah, I'll just have to go do that again. First Miss Peters. I will find out who this woman is, and I will become her biggest fan. I am already, but yeah. There you go. Wonder Man and Paddington 2. Your letterbox average is like 4.5 stars right there. So like there you go. Like between the
Yeah,
two.
she was great. I loved the father as well. I loved all those scenes that we got between him and the young Simon.
Hmm.
I thought that he was great too. That young actor who played him.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, also because that whole storyline is all about like a family who is very out of touch with the arts, kind of supporting the arts just because they support their kid and they know their kid is
mhm.
good. And I think that's also something to say. Like, there are so many questions of like when this was actually conceived versus written versus produced, because this also was written during the writer's strike, and actually like how to comments on that. But like,
Oh,
this was written
okay.
during the writer's strike, so I don't know where in that timeline Trump bought the Kennedy Center and called it the Trump Center. But
Mm,
I feel like a lot of that could also have to do with, a little bit of commentary of like supporting the arts. When you
yeah.
have your best actor frontrunner talking about how shitty ballet and opera is, like I think it's important that like, we get, films like this or series like this that kind of, show that art is meaningful. It's a career, and I love this stuff about the brother too, because sometimes your family just doesn't get it, and as actors, I think we could relate to that too.
Yeah.
There's always one or two family members that are like, okay, but like, where's the money in that? Or like,
Right,
but
right.
like, how do you see a future? Or like, are you gonna be able to sacrifice? Especially like, I'm dating another actor. It's like, okay, so now like, who's gonna sacrifice? And it's like, it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is also something that obviously makes sense to question if you're not in that world. And that's why I actually empathize with the brother a lot. I think he's a dick, but I also understand where he's coming from in the sense that like, if you're an actor who is not booked, that is a very difficult position to be in with the rest of your family when they keep
Yeah.
asking, okay, so like, what? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so this is your career, but you're not working and you're
Right.
auditioning, and how many auditions do you have a week? Like, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, no, totally. And I also do think that he was kind of get a semi redemption arc with the reporter scene, because she does say that he has nothing but good things to say about Simon, and that he is ultimately proud of him.
Yeah, and that
Um,
I love that moment because also
yeah.
also the cheap Hollywood version of that would be the brother having a conversation with him and then having this emotional
Yes.
moment. But I love that it's so subtle that she's like, no, he said all good things, and it's I think because despite him not understanding it and not knowing it and not getting it and not being able to tap into it, I think there's still that understanding of like, well, you're doing it, like you're still doing the thing and you're trying, and I admire that even if I don't want to admit it for my pride, and I just think that's really cool. I thought it was a really cool moment.
Yeah. Yeah, Jill, I'm having a really good time actually talking about this series and like the conversations it's bringing up, and like I just feel like this has been like the most like wholesome, like well-rounded, like well-crafted series that we've been able to talk about, like have like an in-depth, like meaningful conversation
Right.
about.
Yeah, because usually it's like we just go through each episode, talk about some of the details, what we like, what
Y-
we dislike. But this is
Yeah.
and that's the thing. This is not a show where it's like this is what happened in this episode. This is what happened in this episode. There
Yeah.
is that. I think definitely the Doorman episode is like its own contained episode. But I think it's more about like what are the overall themes, what is this overall character journey, and that's also why I just found it so refreshing because it's not
Mhm.
like, oh, who died in Wonder Man, like you ever see when like a new movie comes out, and it's like who died in Thunderbolts, who died, oh, like that's not what it's about. It's not Game of
Yeah,
Thrones.
yeah.
Like this is a different thing,
Right.
and it's weird. It's a weird thing. It's weird that it's so different, but I'm like, it's cool that I just don't see how they greenlit this. Like it's such a weird concept that I'm shocked they
Right.
greenlit this instead of making just a regular Wonder Man series. Like I'm just like this is
Well,
such a interesting premise.
I'm thinking like because like most of the series I feel like takes place on like a set, like all these like movie sets they're using, or like apartments, like I feel like it might not have been like that much money to make. I feel like the the highest the part of the budget was probably Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, and I was surprised to see that the director of the first episode, um what's his name, Dill?
Daniel Destin Cretton.
Daniel. See, I always screw up his name. I always put Destin first.
Oh, I said it wrong. It is Destin Daniel Cretton.
Wait,
You're right.
really?
Yeah,
Oh my
sorry.
god.
See, this is why you were a trivia champ. This is why you got to get back in the ring, Kels, because of that. You're like, please don't.
Okay, don't speak too you speaking too soon, because listen, he literally I was like writing down just like, little like details that I was picking up on. I didn't really take like full like plot notes, but just like, oh, what I saw in the background or what was mentioned throughout each episode I wrote down.
Mhm.
And Trevor Slattery does mention throughout like the first couple episodes that he is sober has been sober for 13 years. And I was like, huh, I wonder when Iron Man 3 came out. Like where does that put him in the timeline? And I couldn't for the life of me think of the year Iron Man 3 came out. So I don't think I'm ready to go back I had to look it up. I was like,
Well,
it's 2013,
I
so
was
it
gonna
was
say you could
13
just
years
subtract
ago.
13. Yeah, yeah.
No,
Honestly,
I know, but I wanted to make sure that they were being like accurate when they were saying that.
yeah,
But
it's a
and
little
they were.
rusty, but here's the thing: we've had like a few months off of trivia. Matt and Kelsey are like now running the league, and I do think with running the league, getting back in the swing of things, you're gonna be
Yes.
sprier than ever, Kels. Don't worry, don't you worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, Destin Daniel Cretton, yeah, directed the first two
Yes.
episodes. Then the second episode was actually the second two episodes was James Ponsoldt, who has never done anything for the MCU, but he was the director. Have you ever seen the movie The Spectacular Now with Miles Teller and
Yes.
Shailene Woodley? He directed
Yes, I
that, and
have
then he
seen that.
also directed a movie called The End of the Tour with with Jason Segel and Jesse Eisenberg. I
Mm.
love those two movies. Those are like 10 out of 10s for me. And and he did the movie with the birthday party, and then the birthday party and then the doorman episode, which are my two favorites, so it makes sense.
Mm,
And then Tiffany Johnson, who I don't have any credits for, did the last two episodes.
yes.
Sorry, no, Stella McGuire. Oh, there are four directors. And Stella Meggy, who did the shows Grownish and Insecure,
Okay.
did the and First Wives Club did the last two episodes. So there's four directors, and it's kind of interesting because like I don't feel like this feels very discombobulated in terms of the style. I feel
Yeah,
like it all
no.
feels very overarching and very consistent. Destin Daniel Cretton did create the series with Andrew Guest, who also did produce 30 Rock Community and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Interesting credits for this series, but the two of them created it, so I wonder if that's kind of like Destin Daniel Cretton has like an overall arching look at everything, even though he only directed the first two episodes, and he's kind of guiding the other ones. That's kind of how I picture it. But what were you about to say about Destin Daniel Cretton? Sorry, before I went on the
Oh, just
ramble
that
about the directors.
I didn't know that he was attached to this project at all, and he
Mm-hmm.
seems to be like a co-creator of it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. This is like his baby, it seems, but
yeah.
which is cool because he's also going to be doing the new Spider-Man movie. So I
Yes.
do think there's potential for him to kind of become this new. I don't want to say the new Feige, obviously, but maybe like kind of how like Taika Waititi and Jon Favreau and the Russo brothers were
Mhm.
making a lot
Mhm.
of those earlier MCU movies. Maybe he's
Yeah.
kind of the one cranking out these
Cuz
newer era.
I love the tone and the vibe and the energy of his project. So I feel like if this is like the shift the MCU is taking, and we kind of, I mean, like the Russo brothers are coming out with Avengers Doomsday right now, so I feel like we're getting that same old like
Old dog, new
whatever.
tricks, or
But
new old dog, old tricks.
yes, old dogs and old tricks.
We'll see.
Nothing new about it. But yeah, if we want, we can kind of spend like our last like couple minutes talking about just some of like the details and
Yeah.
Easter eggs that I picked up
Oh
on.
yeah, please. Yeah.
Um
Because there are
I
definitely
did
some in this too. There's definitely a lot of good like little
yeah, for
hints and
sure.
stuff.
And not just Marvel Easter eggs, but also like we've been saying, like the all these Hollywood Easter eggs we've been getting
Yes.
as well.
Twilight.
But first I will start with the fact that I did look into Simon Williams's backstory in the comics. So he is an actor in the comics who is transformed by Zemo, actually. Zemo transforms his body by using an ionic energy form, and they were kind of talking about this like ionic like property in the last episode as well. And so he uses this ionic energy to transform Simon Williams's body because he wants him to take down the Avengers. As we know, Zemo hates the Avengers.
Yes.
Um and but the Avengers are actually able to change Simon for the better, so he joins them instead of destroying them. And he actually at one point in the comics sacrifices himself to save the Avengers. So then his consciousness is uploaded into Vision, and him and Vision become like these like twins in the
Cool.
comics.
Yeah.
Um, but a result of that is actually Eric, his brother, who's in the series, becomes the villain Grim Reaper because he is becomes like he goes on like a vendetta. He goes on a quest for revenge for his brother's death. So,
Wow. Okay.
um,
Interesting.
yeah. Starting with episode 1, obviously I wrote down that Ashley Greene from Twilight is in this, which is I was like, wow, I can't escape this shit anywhere. It's everywhere I go.
Yes. If you
Um,
haven't checked out Kelsey's video, go check it out. It's great. It's great.
when he is arriving to set for American Horror Story, we see a Rogers the Musical billboard in the background. Um, He goes to see the movie Midnight Cowboy. Trevor Slattery mentions he's been sober for 13 years, and 13 years ago is when Iron Man 3 came out.
Mm.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I forgot to look into this. Maybe you can for me right now, Dill. But look into the actor who plays the guy from Damage Control, because I'm pretty sure he's the same guy from Miss Marvel.
Damage control, like the doorman, or
No, like the guy
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah. Pete
Trevor's
Clear. Yeah,
working
yeah,
with.
yeah. Sorry. I thought
Yeah,
damage
yeah,
control
yeah.
was the name of the thing. Oh yeah, that's Arian Moayed, who is in
Is
Succession. He has been in a few MCU. He was in Spider-Man: No Way Home. That's what it was.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
I
and
wanted to write down a Spider-Man project. I'm
then
like
Miss Marvel. He's also in.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm not going crazy. Um Oh yeah. And it's interesting. I guess we can also use this time to talk about Trevor Slattery because we get a full Mandarin kind of cosplay at the
Yeah.
end of this series, and we see the logo for the 10 rings again. We get some moments. There's one of the episodes starts with like the day he was kind of cast as the Mandarin. He's like literally doing a self tape and audition for them, but you can tell he's kind of out of it. He's like either drunk or high or both, and
Hmm.
he's like, "Listen, like I'm pretty desperate. Like I really do need this gig." And they're like, "Great, that's perfect. Now just try to be like a little scary for us, and then we can see the Mandarin kind of coming to
Right.
life before our very eyes." So this guy who's like turned like because at the end of the day, this is what I realized with this series is that at the end of the day, Trevor Slattery is not a criminal or a bad guy. Like he was just an actor who was in the wrong place at the wrong time and got hired to do this bad gig because he was an addict at the time.
Right.
And it just feels like he's so desperately trying to turn his life around and for people to see him as like the actor that he is and not like the terrorist that he once was. And people just keep referring to him as the Mandarin. He can't get out of like this under this guy's thumb who keeps threatening to like send him back to prison. So I was shocked to see him like go back into his Mandarin form by the end of this deal. Were you expecting that?
Yeah, I was not. I think it's cool though. Like obviously a show about Hollywood, and like you have this actor. Like I think it's cool to kind of get the origin of that. I don't think it's a character we ever needed to get like the origin of like how that happened,
Mm-hmm.
and all that. But it was cool. I think it's very interesting, and I think he's great. Like Ben Kingsley has not missed a beat either as Mandarin or Trevor Slattery. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is really cool, and I think sometimes we take it for granted how good these actors are in the MCU. Some of them are like becoming movie stars. Like Yahya Abdul-Mateen II has been in some big projects like Candyman, and he's been working his way up there. But he's still, I would say, still like in this newer generation of emerging actors. Whereas Ben Kingsley is like a legend of the screen, of the stage. Like it is crazy that he's in this, and that
Mm-hmm.
he's like this is the guy from Schindler's List. This is the guy from Gandhi. Like he is
Mm.
iconic, and he's just playing this one-off kind of supporting character that again blossoms into something so much bigger and better. I just think it's awesome to see him, and also the fact that a guy of his stature and his notoriety is playing this role and not treating it like just another job or like a throwaway thing. And that's what I actually appreciate about Harrison Ford as well in Captain America. It's like they're actually giving care to like make these actual characters, and they end up being, in this case, maybe not the best thing about the series because there's a lot of great things about it, but like in Harrison Ford's case, the best thing about that film, like it really is cool to see these veteran actors actually caring, even though it is a superhero franchise. They're
Mm-hmm.
still putting in effort as if it wasn't, kind of like Patty LaPone with Agatha. She didn't even realize it was part of the MCU when she signed up, and I think that's the benefit of it.
Yeah.
Like I think they should treat them like they're just any other project, and then like once you start to do 5 or 6 of them, you're like, oh shoot, okay, like this is a franchise, isn't it?
Right,
But
right.
like this didn't need to be MCU even. Like this really without the Rogers billboard and all that stuff. Like this could have just been its own series on like
Mm-hmm.
HBO, and I would have watched and I would have loved. Like I
Yeah,
don't think it's married to the MCU, which is actually why it's so refreshing to me.
totally.
Yeah.
So do you think that Trevor Slattery as the character can like ever be fully redeemed? Like can people forgive him and move on?
I don't know, and the thing about this, which is also true with Midnight Cowboy, is like they're they're never. Yeah, it's not about. I don't know. Like I feel like they're trying to go that route. I
Yeah.
don't know if we get another season of this. That's the thing. Like I don't really know if this might be it.
Yeah.
And to show like that even though these two have done bad things, they need each other to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor obviously much more so than oh
Simon?
gosh, Simon. Simon just stems from insecurity, I think. But that's the thing. I think it also stems from insecurity with Trevor, and I think that's the thing is you just learn so much about Trevor that informs you about why he does what he does, even if you don't agree with them. I think the last scene is meant to make you feel a little bit of hope for the two of them,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe not redeem him, but give you the sense that maybe he has learned from his mistakes and just the fact that he was able to confess to his friend what he was doing, and not just hiding it away. even though he was still kind of backstabbing him in a way. It's a very complex character, and I think that's the cool thing is that there is really no answer whether or not he should be redeemed or not, or if he's going to or not. I think that's what
Yeah.
makes him complex. But what do you think?
I mean, I just found myself really feeling bad for Trevor in this
Yeah,
series. Like everywhere he goes, he just can't escape. Like, and he keeps explaining. He's like, I wasn't a real terrorist. I was an actor, and I was high the whole time, and I can't even remember what I said or did
yeah,
anyway. And it is a shame that, like, but the I guess like the damage of him being the Mandarin and like what he did and like actually like
the guilt.
shooting that guy, like, like that's kind of like hard to move on from. And
Hmm.
it just sucks. But also like he got cast in like a major reboot movie. Like that was gonna make it's certainly making Simon a star. I'm sure it would have done the same for um uh Trevor Slattery, but I almost wish that we looked into a little bit more of that, where like maybe there's like a group of people out there that like thinks that he should go back to prison and that root for his downfall, and that like maybe there's like some kind of protest where like they find out he gets cast and it's like, no, like remove him from the picture, like we're gonna boycott this film,
Yeah,
like,
which is
you
very
know,
real. I mean, that
yeah,
happens. Like, look how many like John the Majors, or not even like he was kind of demoted after the fact. But like a lot of actors, when they get roles, like look who's about to win the Oscar for supporting actor. It's Sean Penn, who like beat a woman a few years ago. So like that's the thing is like sometimes Hollywood just forgives and forgets. Sometimes if it's not illegal, it's okay. But then sometimes
right,
the fans have to be the ones who are holding them accountable and stuff. And yeah, it could be great art. And that's the thing. Trevor's a great actor, and I think that's what this proved too. Is like he's a
mm-hmm,
great actor. He might even be better than Simon, but like,
yeah,
but that
totally,
doesn't mean he deserves that role based on what he's done. But at the same time, maybe there is a question of redemption. Maybe you should. He was high all the time. I mean, look at Matthew Perry. On like 5 seasons of Friends, he said he was too high to even remember. He doesn't remember those years. Or
yeah,
obviously he's passed away now, but like he didn't
mm-hmm,
remember those years because he was just high all the time, and that's
mm-hmm.
sad. But sometimes addicts, like and that might have not been an addiction thing. It might have been just like whatever. But I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
and
that this film brings up the dilemmas though, or the series. I keep calling it a film. I watch it all at once, but
no, 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 totally. I feel you. Yeah, and I'm feeling better about this series than I initially thought, because I it did leave me wanting more. I was like, "Oh my God, I hope we get another season of this," because like I need to know what happens to these two. I want to
yeah.
know like if Trevor is ever fully redeemed and forgiven by people, you know?
Yeah, it's one of those
Um
great endings that if it ended there and we never saw these two again, kind of like Moon Knight, where it's like it feels like we got our full meal. It feels like we had a good resolution. It feels like they got everything they needed to. But at the
yeah.
same time, they leave the door open where like, okay, now we can take it another direction too.
Yeah.
You know,
Anyway, moving on with the Easter eggs. I don't have that many written down. But there is a Criterion Movie Collection mention in episode 3 that I knew I had to write down. I was like,
uh,
"Oh, I
I don't even have
recognize
any on me
that."
right now. I was gonna pull it out, but I don't.
I was like, "Oh, Dill's gonna love that." They really like pulled out every stop for like every person who's just like a film buff and or an actor or just like knows so much about like the industry. Like they really brought
The
everything.
only the only thing I'll say about that, his mom
Yeah.
says it right. His criteria.
Yes.
The only thing is, and this is, I love my mom, Becky Randazzo. You are my favorite person in the world. But also, like, I don't even know. My mom gets me them every year for Christmas, but I don't really know if she could say like Criterion Movie Collection. I don't think she would just say Criterion. She would say like the
Totally.
movies or the Blu-rays.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even
Your
at the time,
DVDs.
yeah, when I'm like, hey, I want Criterion's for Christmas, she knows what that means, and she's like, okay, let me know which ones you want. I'll get you some.
Yeah.
But I don't think she would be like his Criterion Movie Collection. The fact that she was able to name drop the brand specifically is so
Totally.
movie nerd, and I don't know how realistic. Especially with the language barrier, she would be to do that.
Right,
But
right.
hey, like I think it's funny when she's like, "Yeah, his Criterion Movie Collection." I was like,
Yeah,
"Yes,
yeah.
period,
I
yes."
also think that that probably just goes to show like how um supportive she is of her son, and how, much like she's probably just gotten into the whole industry because of like, the lifestyle and the profession he's chosen to pursue. Um Moving on to episode 6, the callback. At one point, the director of our film, Von Kovac, yeah, that's his name, Von Kovac, is taking them through his mansion, and he kind of takes them into like an office type space, and he's like, this is the vision board for the movie, and this is everything that has basically I'm using as inspiration to make this film. And we see on a cork board behind him that he actually has some pictures of people that we know very well here on Marvelous Movie Mondays. I see a picture of White Vision, which is probably either a tease for Vision Quest or the fact that we don't even truly know what happens to White Vision at the end of WandaVision.
I forgot that was a thing. Yeah. Wow.
Or it's a tease to what I was talking about earlier with the comics, how Simon's consciousness is uploaded into Vision.
Mm.
Could be a tease or an Easter egg for any of the following things.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if Yahya Abdul Mateen II is gonna be in Vision Quest. I haven't even looked.
Oh my
Maybe. Let
god.
me find out. Or do we want to know? I mean,
Well,
if they don't want us to know, they won't tell us. You
right,
know.
right. I
Um,
was gonna say, like, do we even have anything confirmed about that? Like, I feel like the only
it's coming out this year. That's all I know.
right.
Yeah, Paul Bettany, James Spader's in it. Oh, I don't know if this is
Ooh,
dangerous to rattle off these names. But yeah, James Spader, Todd Stashwick, Rudari Malika, who was he's playing Thomas Maximoff. Wait,
Thomas.
Tommy Maximoff. Speed. That's the other twin,
Is
right?
that a child?
No, he's playing the
An adult?
yeah, he's like what Joe Locke was as Billy.
Oh, so he's like a teenager?
I guess. Yeah, Tania Miller is in it. Emily Hampshire, who was
Oh, in Schitt's Creek.
yes, yes, she's in it. Um,
Wow, so I guess we're gonna meet Tommy then
James
in Vision
Darcy
Quest.
is playing Jarvis. That's weird. I don't understand. There's also Orla Brady playing Friday. There's a lot of like and now names that are like letters spaced out.
Oh,
Um,
got it. Like acronyms.
yeah, yeah. No, nothing about Wonder Man or Simon in this, but maybe that'll be a
Okay.
surprise. I don't know. Well, now I'm intrigued.
There's also on the mood board behind Von Kovac is a picture of Thor, a picture of Iron Man, and a picture of both Captain Americas. We see a picture of Sam Wilson in his Captain America getup, and we also see a picture of not Steve Rogers' face, but it is certainly Steve Rogers, one of the iterations of one of
Mhm.
his suits and his body. I think if I had to take a guess, I would say Captain America: The Winter Soldier, but that was pretty much all I had, all I wrote down, really. Obviously I wrote down the EDM remix of Summer from Frozen that just like I want them to release that so
Did
I
they
can
not have
like
it released? I'm looking on Spotify right now. I need
oh
it.
my god.
I need it. Keep talking. I'm gonna look for it.
I'm
Don't
sorry. As
forget.
I'm filming this like in front of my window, which is why my lighting's kind of weird, but also
You're good.
like the men, all like the old men who live on like my block are having some sort of meeting about something. They're conversing over the sewer together. So,
Oh,
I
nice.
hope everything's okay. It's just like
In
very like
summer. Yeah,
it's
no, I'm
just
not finding it.
all
Damn.
right. Well, Marvel, you know what to do. Release the EDM mix.
Yeah, I'm even on the like Wonder Man soundtrack. Um, and it's not there. That's a shame. Well, now we know what. Yeah, now I know what my bucket list will be. Is hearing that. Well, I guess I could hear watching the show, and I'm sure someone's clipped it on YouTube. But I want it. I want to download. I want to put it on a
Right. I want a
playlist.
full version.
Yeah. Um. All right. What else do we have to say? I feel like we've done a lot of talking, but any other thoughts on Wonder Man?
I think that's it for me, Jill. That's all I wanted to say for
Cool.
sure.
Well, where do you fall ranking wise? Or not ranking wise. That would take like a year. Where do you put this in your MC ranking? No, but like, what do you rank this out of 10 or out of 5, whatever you want?
I would give this series like a solid like I'm in the 7.5 area
Okay, that's not
range.
bad. That's not
What
bad at
about you,
all.
Dill?
I'm at like an 8 or an 8.5. Like I'm really
Okay.
loving it. I
Yeah.
really loved it. But yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's like a 10 out of 10. Like just because I mean it didn't. I wasn't watching it like, oh my god, you know. But like very
Right,
few
right.
films will do that. But this is
Yeah.
probably my favorite thing. I mean, X-Men '97 is its own little bubble. But like
Yeah.
MCU wise, this might be my favorite since like Eternals, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
maybe WandaVision. That'd be crazy, but maybe
wow.
like those three are kind of the ones I'm thinking of since COVID. Since we covered this on this podcast, like I
Right.
think those are my top three right now. But
I'm
maybe I'm
like
missing something. I'm probably missing. Oh, Guardians 3. I'm missing. Okay, Guardians 3 is the best. But if we take Guardians out of it,
yeah.
then like because that's like its own thing too.
I mean, I'm thinking like out of all like the strictly like TV shows, I think like the ones that like come to mind for me are definitely WandaVision.
Loki.
I Loki, Moon Knight. I
Mm,
really enjoyed Moon Knight.
yeah.
This one's definitely I feel like this one's definitely falling into that realm of like top 3, top 5
Yeah,
for
for me, this
sure.
is like I think I like him more than Moon Knight and Loki, but I don't know if I like him more than WandaVision, just because WandaVision was such a moment too,
No,
also for
totally.
our podcast. But I don't know. I mean, it's great. It's great. I think it's great. I know you had your reservations about it, but I think
Yeah.
talking about it, you like it a little bit more. But even then, like,
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
totally valid to feel a little bit like I was kind of bored by it. Like, you know, it wasn't. It was a cool experiment, but not my thing type deal. So,
Yeah.
I think there's multiple ways to look at it. I don't think it has to necessarily be a universal like it's amazing or it's not. But yeah, I definitely think if you're into something, if you want something different, a little bit of a palate cleanser, something just a little more unique in the MCU, this is definitely for you. But if you're
Mhm.
expecting like big action and comedy and set pieces, like there's some comedy in it, but like if you're expecting like the typical MCU vibe, I don't think you're gonna like this one as much. And that's why I don't think I would recommend it to everyone. I think it's a cool experiment, but like it's only going to work for certain people, and I definitely think there are going to be people who hate this because also, you know, get wokeness out of my MCU or get like yeah, all that
Yeah.
shit. But I definitely think there's going to be people who don't love this. So your mileage may vary, but I really did. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it feels very like lo-fi
Yeah,
MCU.
yeah,
So it's just a different vibe.
yeah. Have we ever gotten anything this like low key, like with no like battles or anything like that?
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah,
No.
no. I think this is as simple as it get. I mean, like
Yeah.
yeah, I cannot even think of another example of this. Like maybe the middle portion of Captain Marvel where they're just at the farm, but like I don't know. Like
Oh,
that again,
yeah.
and then again,
Yeah.
that movie is still so big with its action. Like I
No,
really
yeah,
don't think we've ever
totally.
gotten anything this subdued, where like the powers are so secondary. I mean, it's the point, but also
Yes.
like it doesn't feel like you need to focus on them at all. You know?
And it's this guy who doesn't even feel like he wants his powers. He's like, no, he's like, I just want to be an actor. I don't want to be imprisoned or recruited by anyone. I'm ignoring this as much as I can. Please just let me be a person and live my life.
Yeah, and that's what we all want, right? As
Yeah,
actors, we just want to live our lives and act and perform, and if we
totally.
can't perform, at least talk and improvise conversations in front of people every Monday on Marvelous Movie Mondays. Check us out. Yeah, that's Wonder Man. Yay, we did it. Next time, as we said, we're gonna try to give you 2 episodes a month. Still, one is definitely gonna be trivia though. We're really gonna commit to doing trivia this month. So
Hmm.
next week or in 2 weeks from today, you'll be getting our first trivia matches of the season. And Matt and Kelsey will keep that up while I'm still on the boat, and then. Next month for our main episode, we are going to be doing Daredevil Born Again season 2 episodes 1 through 4. I believe there are 8. Kelsey will be fresh off the premiere, which is so exciting. I'm so excited for you. And we'll be back to talk about that. We're also gonna plan something on the road to Doomsday, whether it's like an episode where we just kind of like talk about our predictions and maybe like just do a little reflecting, or maybe we make it an ongoing series, maybe on TikTok or something. I'm hoping to do a semi MCU rewatch this year, not full in its entirety, but at least watching the ones that I think are going to matter for Doomsday, kind of refreshing my mind. So very interested for that, very excited for that. Kels, anything else from you? Anything to plug for
Yeah.
you? You obviously have something brand new that just came out to share. So,
Um,
um,
yeah, if you're a Twilight fan or love to hate it, you can check my video that I dropped on my channel, Kelsey Kilpatrick. I did a deep dive. I read the books for the first time, and I did a deep dive into the movies and some of the other books that she wrote outside of the main saga. So you can check that out on my channel. And if you're a DC fan, there's also another video you can check out there. I watched all of the DC films for the first time as well and gave my thoughts and opinions on those. So
That's one of my
yeah,
favorite videos ever. That DC ranking. It's great because it's like it is. You're flying through them, but you're giving each one the fruitful amount of review and conversation. Like, I don't know how you do it, because if I were to do that, it would be like 9-10 hours long, just because I wouldn't know how to edit myself. And then if I tried to like keep it in
right.
one-liners, I feel like I'd be regretting, like, oh, I should have said that. Really impressive stuff there, Kelsey. And Kelsey will also be presenting this Friday at the Pickle Awards. She's presenting some awards for Best On-Screen Couple and Best Kiss. Not a lot of MCU nominees this year, but there is a Superman couple. So she's now a DC girl too. So
Yes.
maybe we'll have to see if either of those Superman couples win. We will not tell you anything. But of those nominees, we have some MCU names. Michael B. Jordan is nominated alongside
Mm-hmm.
Haley Steinfeld for Best Kiss. Weird
Mm-hmm.
Hawkeye Black Panther crossover there. And then Kate Blanchett is nominated for Best On-Screen Couple with Michael Fassbender, so that's Hela and Magneto, which is kind of fun too. And Wunmi Masaku and Michael B. Jordan are up for Best On-Screen Couple, which is again Black Panther and Loki crossover. So
Yes.
some cool Marvel actors there amongst the Pickle Awards. I also wanted to talk about Oscar-nominated Marvel actors, because we always bring it up every year.
Oh
The
yeah.
Oscars, by this time next time, the Oscars will have happened. So I just want to rattle off any of the names of Marvel people. First off, Ryan Coogler nominated for Best Director, really cool. Also directed Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Chloe Zhao, who directed Eternals, is nominated this year for Hamnet for Best Director. I believe that's it for directing. For actor, Ethan Hawke from Moon Knight is up for Best Actor for the movie Blue Moon. We also have, of course, Michael B. Jordan up for Sinners. For Best Actress, I believe none of those women have been in the MCU, right? We haven't seen Rose Byrne in the MCU yet, right?
No.
No, but she's great. Supporting actor, I'm also
Well,
looking.
she's in X-Men.
She isn't. There you go. I knew she was somewhere. I was like, she's somewhere. And then Emma Stone, who was in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, up for
Yes.
Begonia. There we go. We
Yep.
found a connection. Supporting actor Stellan Skarsgård is up for his first Oscar for Sentimental Value. He's in the Thor films. And Benicio del Toro, the Collector, up for One Battle After Another for supporting
Mm-hmm.
actor. Is Elle Fanning in the MCU yet? Has she done
No.
anything? No. Wunmi Masaku, though, is in Loki. She is also nominated for Sinners. So there are your nominees there. Kelsey, have you watched any of the Oscar-nominated movies? I know this is totally not related to the podcast, but I know I still have you for another half hour. So what have you been watching any of the Oscar-nominated movies? Do you have any thoughts as we go into the Oscars? I always love to get your take.
I've seen I haven't watched all of them. And in fact, I probably haven't seen most of them. The one that I really really want to see is One Battle After Another, because I feel like that's the one that people are most been talking about. I have seen Marty Supreme. I did watch Sinners. What else is nominated?
Have you seen Hamnet yet?
No.
Train Dreams,
No.
Begonia.
Oh, I
Also,
watched Begonia.
okay.
Saw Begonia.
The new Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro.
No, need to hit that too. I also, okay, sorry. Some of these I've been missing because I haven't been able to sign into my parents' Netflix account in my apartment
Oh
for
no.
like, it's like that big, like, no, this isn't a part of the household. You need to upgrade your program screen. So me and my roommates finally just got our own Netflix
Cool.
account. So
Yeah.
now
So
I
you
can
can
start
watch,
banging out.
yeah, Frankenstein and Train Dreams are on
Yeah.
there. Have you seen F1 yet? The racing movie?
No.
Yeah, I don't know if you would like that one.
Okay.
And then two international films, A Secret Agent and Sentimental Value.
Okay,
Are
yeah.
nominated. So those are the big nominees.
So I've
And-
seen 4 out of
Yeah.
the 10.
Cool. Of those, do you have like a horse in the race that you like a lot?
I would say that what were the 4 I named? Begonia, Marty
Marty
Supreme,
Supreme.
Sinners, and
I think that was it.
really? So only 3?
Of the best pictures, yeah.
Oh, okay. Um, I would say that probably out of those 3, I like Sinners the best, but I definitely have to give that like another a rewatch, I think. Um, yeah, Marty Supreme was good. I just feel like the plot kind of got crazy. Like I was really into it. Like it could have just been about ping pong, and I was like really into it. But then he started like going on this like dog like with the this like dog chase, and now people are after him and blah blah blah. Like I feel like they could, if they kept that movie like a little bit more contained to just like his relationship with what's her name, Rachel? Is her name Rachel in the
Yeah,
movie?
Odessa Zion's character.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they just kept the movie like a little more focused between like him and her relationship and like the ping pong of it all, like I was locked in. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need like all this other stuff to like get crazy and happen throughout that
Yeah,
movie.
that's fair. Best actor, are you Timmy Chalamet or Michael B. Jordan?
Oh
And
my
not
god,
not talking about opera, but like the performances.
Michael B all the way. I've been wanting him to win. I'm like so happy he won at the SAG Awards, right? Or the
Hmm.
Actor Awards now.
Yeah.
Um so I've been wanting him to win every single award. I think that his performance was definitely like insane in Sinners, and
Yeah.
that was the part that I enjoyed the most about that
I mean,
movie.
I think the fact that like you forget you're watching one guy play two people
Yes.
is really impressive. Like I because that's the thing, his performance for me is not that flashy, but then I'm like, wait, but like I'm convinced that there's two of them. Like
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
convincing, and that might be on the visual effects, that might be on the direction, it might be on Michael, it might be all three.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. We'll see next time we talk. Sinners. My Ryan Coogler could be an Oscar winner. Michael B. Jordan very well likely will be an Oscar winner. Wunmi Musaku is also the front runner, so she could also be an Oscar winner right now. So we might have some Marvel Oscar winners coming up soon. Not for Marvel movies, but it would be really, really cool. But that's it for me. You can find me at Dylan_Randazzo, Letterboxd, Twitter, all that stuff. Yes, still call it Twitter. Pickle Awards are Friday. I've been doing my Death Race videos. I've been doing Survivor videos. Drafts are coming up. We're going to have a lot of drafts that we're pre-taping that we're going to release throughout the year. Kelsey will definitely be part of them. We're going to have some TikTok stuff going on. So much stuff. We're really going to try. I'm going to try to spend every second of free time that I have just working on the channel and doing fun stuff. Because this is a fun outlet to do. Especially because when you're doing the same thing again a whole another year on the boat, you're not going to necessarily want to just do all the boat stuff again.
Yeah,
So there's going
yeah.
to be times where I'm just going to want to sit back and do this. But that's going to be fun. And I can't wait. And if you guys have any suggestions of things you want to see covered on Marvel-ous Movie Mondays, we've kind of covered all the movies out there, save for a few. We're working through the first Avenger files. We'll bring you some of those this year too if we can. 2016 commentaries this summer for our 2016 retrospective. Doctor Strange, Captain America: Civil War. Are those the only two from 2016?
Yes.
Okay. See, there the trivia brain's still there.
2017 is one with three.
Okay, because that's Spider-Man: Homecoming, Thor: Ragnarok, and
Guardians 2.
Guardians 2. There you go. See, she still got it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. And take care.